with Kallen, TCB and Commander.
Oh,
Hey everybody, my name is Thomas Colbaron, and I am gay. See, I did not choose to be gay. I did not wake up one day and go, how can I make my life as difficult as it can possibly be? Oh, I know, I'm going to be gay today. Or tomorrow I'm going to be straight, and then the day after that I'm going to be gay. No. My mom likes to tell me a story. She's known I was gay since I was 2 years old. My grandma likes to tell me an even funnier story. She's known I was gay since I was 4, and she saw me in the front yard romping around with a pink feathered boa. I'm sorry, but for those of you out there, it's really easy for straight people to make judgments on gay people because they're not in our situation. It's really easy for straight people to say scientific things about genes or about hardwiring or about religion or all of that stuff, or John Locke's theories about how the brain works. It's really easy for straight people to get up here and say all of these theories about how a gay person's sexuality came about, because in the end they're not gay and they don't actually know what it's like. And trust me, being gay, it's not an easy thing. All through middle school, I was tormented for it. People said words to me in the hallway that you shouldn't really hear from peers. And I went to a high school where I was accepted, the Orange County High School of the Arts, but I mean, honestly, it's not an easy life, and it's quite offensive that there are people out there that would tell me that I chose this for myself, because it's not. And I mean, I can't marry the person that I love right now. I can't hold hands with my boyfriend in the street for fear of people throwing shit at me. It's really a serious issue, and if anyone would like to come up to my face and tell me, yes, you chose that for yourself, you chose that difficult life for yourself, you chose to make every day harder just so that you can express your feelings for another guy and maybe be different, if they can come up to me and tell me that to my face, then I will genuinely believe that maybe they do think that. But honestly, I think it stems from a misunderstanding as to the way that sexuality works. And I mean, in the end, it's easy for straight people to make judgments about gay people. It's easy for straight people to come up and say scientific this or that, but in the end, they're not gay. And I know that most of you straight people out there probably didn't wake up one day and go, I'm not going to be gay, I'm going to be straight today. So, I mean, it's the same thing for me. I didn't choose this. It doesn't make life easy for me. So, and that's just the way it is. And I yield my time to questions.
question?
Yes.
Okay, I just have a really quick question, and I totally agree with you, but we've heard arguments about people saying that this is like a choice that stems from childhood, it stems from the genes. So can you tell us, like, since your childhood, did you know this, like, from a very, very young age, and like, what was your first conscious feeling of, yes, I am? Was it from very, very young age, or was it from middle school, or? I
can honestly say that I have never been physically attracted to a female before. It's something that from elementary school, I could always tell that it was something between, like, that I had with other boys and I didn't have with girls. And when I realized what it actually was, what the actual idea of homosexuality was in middle school, then I could kind of like form it, and I realized, yes, that's what I've been feeling my entire life. And I mean, the first time I kissed a guy, it was still like a confusing experience, but it's still, it's been this way since elementary school. I've never been physically attracted to a girl before.
Speaker's time has expired. Now we're going to need a subsequent pro speaker. Anyone want to speak out or pro that resolve that homosexuality is a choice for sexual orientation? Anyone? Bueller? Yeah. What's up?
Hello. Just I wanted to start off. You did a great job. Now I just wanted to say that, you know, people were bringing up a lot of issues with hardwiring, and I think they kind of misunderstood what that entire concept was. The idea of hardwiring comes from the fact that when you're a young child, when you're born, you have a set of ingrained genetics within you. Now, with that being said, there is inherent sexuality, but that does not necessarily connote inherent sexuality towards towards someone of the other sex. Now, what I was saying was that from the evolutionary perspective, if it were true that people were born homosexual, well, isn't it true that maybe we would have grown to maybe accept this a bit more, and that it's not necessarily part of the counterculture? I'm a huge fan of gay rights, but I do think it's also a choice. But I don't think that makes it any less legitimate. So with homosexuality, I don't think when someone says, "Well, I was born gay," that does not necessarily have to be a manifest truth. It can be a choice that's stems from maybe a separate type of upbringing. And I yield my time for questions.
So me?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're saying that you agree with the degree of influence that the environmental factors have on the judgment. You're saying that this is a very big factor that will go in whether subconsciously or not.
Yes, but I think that when it comes down to the nature-nurture issue, there should be an understanding that nature and nurture both exert a similar influence. So like if I were to say I'm hungry, is it because I want to eat, or is it because I haven't eaten in the past 12 hours?
Any other question? Yes.
Can you tell me why a person would be gay in the first place, according to your theory?
Well, I don't necessarily, I don't know, I'm straight, but it could be, many things. It could be a reaction to, being persecuted by someone from the other sex. Like, I have a friend who was, her father is gay because he was with a woman, 3 women, and, they were horrible to him. This is, like, the 3 men he was with, they were not, doing so well for him, and he came out of the closet. Now, you can argue, well, he always knew to some extent he was gay, but, that you get into a very gray area.
Okay, well, does that mean that you think all gay people have chose it, or do you think that there's kind of like a mix of people who chose, like, as you said, kind of chose it, and then there's some people who just were born that way? Or do you think it's all?
I think it's a mixture of both. It's not fair to say that, well, it's 100% chosen, or you're 100% born. I mean, it can be a mix of just, having innate sexuality, and then, being raised under a certain type of social stigma. So, for example, you can even argue that I had an innate sense of sexuality to me, but because of the fact the way society works, I chose to be straight.
All right, speaker's time has expired. Okay, can we get a subsequent comment? Yes.
Somebody's excited.
Yeah, they want to speak.
Hi, I'm Alexis from Camarillo High School. First of all, I'd like to say, since when did we choose to vote on happiness? You can write on your face, "No hate," "Stop the hate" all you want, but why is this even an issue in the first place? It's not a choice. I'm straight and I can't make myself like girls. Like, that's not how it works. Just like gay people, they look at girls, they look at the opposite sex and they can't force themselves to like that. They just can't. Gay people are majorly criticized. Everything. Why would they choose that for themselves? They wouldn't. A previous speaker said that clean slate. Well, how do we define what the clean slate is? How do you say that the way we were born was to like the opposite sex? That hasn't been proven either, just like this hasn't. And taking a religious standpoint on the Bible saying that that being gay is a sin. Well, we all sin, okay? And God loves everyone, if that's what you're basing your thoughts on. And the basic rule of treat others the way you want to be treated. I don't want my marriage rights taken away. I don't want to be made fun of my whole life. Like, how could we do this to other human beings? In order to advance, we have to start loving each other. I mean, in order to make space advancements, science, like, we have to work together. And this is doing just the opposite. Like, I didn't choose to have cerebral palsy. Like, just like they didn't choose to be gay. So I yield my time to questions.